Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, what we're going to talk about this morning on this episode of Bullet Points is an article that I found really fascinating. Because as you guys know, we talk about all the time, and we've been really focusing on the constitutional carry movement in these United States. As I'm sure you guys are aware, we have reached the 50th percentile mark. Well, that has all sorts of ramifications across the board, which is why it was so important to get there. And you guys did it, so don't ever think that someone else did, because it was directly because of you guys. But that's what this article is about. What are we going to do going forward? And was the cause of this amazing freedom movement the situation or something else? Everything's going to be linked in the description box below. I want to hear from you guys on this one. And now let's dive in because we have got an amazing platform to build from now. All right, so the situation turbocharges gun carry movement. Pretty awesome. All right, so it turns out that there is a situational side effect that won't hurt you. In fact, it may save your life. Since the nation shut down in March 2020 as the situational crisis hit, 10 states have cleared the way for citizens to carry handguns. Now, of course, you guys know why I'm situationalizing that, because YouTube doesn't like that word. All right, so a movement that began in Alaska in 2003 will reach exactly half the country this month when Georgia this week becomes the 25th state to okay constitutional carry, meaning there are a few rules barring the carrying of handguns because it's constitutionally sound. Notice how, by the way, there's no challenges in court to the constitutionality. All the pushback has been around fear and concern and conjecture. Let's just put it that way. That's the nice way to say that. Now, this is an interesting quote because this is where we start to get to where we're headed. The situation actually turbocharged the constitutional carry movement. NRA chief lobbyist Jason Ouimet told Secrets. This is Washington Examiner Secrets. Now, what's interesting about this is, of course, regardless of the actual catalyst, what's important is we've arrived. But it is important to look at what the cause was and how we move that and translate that forward, which is what we're about to talk about in this article. Because the people in power in the gun world, I'll be honest with you, they're setting their sights even further according to this article, because this is very, very interesting where they want to go now. They don't just want to stop a constitutional carry, they want to go national reciprocity, which is a big one. All right, so let's keep going because that's what I wanted to really focus on. Now, this is what they contribute the cause to. Quote, when the men and women in law enforcement contracted the situation, a lot of them weren't able to go to work, and you really were your first and only line of defense. I would argue that's always the case. You really were your own first responder in your house, and thank God for the Second Amendment that you have the ability to exercise the right in America. Amen to that one. But that's the whole point. As we see more and more demographics continue to adopt the Second Amendment, as we see more and more states adopt constitutional carry, as we see the Supreme Court smack down the idea that the state can tell you you can or cannot carry a firearm, all of these things are inching and angling towards a further progression of firearms rights, which is what we're all about on this channel. Now, this is where we get into the next part, because this is interesting. I want to hear from you guys on this one. With the nation turning pro-gun so fast and the high court essentially poised to nationalize the freedom to carry handguns with few restrictions other than passing background checks, the movement is turning to winning the freedom to carry weapons legally across state lines. Now, there's two pieces there. They're hitting on the idea that the Supreme Court is going to say states, you cannot say they can't bear these firearms. Just like Heller said, you have no right to say you can or can't have a firearm in your home. This one, the Bruen one that's happening in New York, has the potential to set the precedent to say states, you can't say they can't bear arms. You can keep them, and then you tried this little game of, well, you can't bear them. Well, now the Supreme Court's going to reinforce that decision that you can now bear them, hopefully. Again, that would open up all states to potentially a national reciprocity. And that's where this gets really, really interesting, because if you have states that are constitutional carry and some are permitted and some of them require permits and like specific background checks and training, well, at a certain point, you get and be able to move into different states with no problems. This gets really interesting. Quote, we'd like to see the movement go even further, and we will continue to advocate for Congress to pass national concealed carry reciprocity, said Tim Schmidt, the president and founder of the United States Concealed Carry Association. That's not a small fry. So if we're talking and going from, hey, we reached the 50% milestone for constitutional carry, to now, hey, let's get more states, because by my calculation, and we're going to cover that a lot on this channel, we've got between 3 to 5 states that can be pushed next year, depending on the outcome of the national elections on the midterms. But if we get to the point where we're at pretty soon 29, 28, at a certain point, you just go, hey guys, that's 2/3. Let's just all do this. And that's what's really important. And if you get national reciprocity, it's not a far leap to say all these states do it. Why don't we do it as well on a national level? That's the way this incremental movement works. And that's why we work every single day to pass the blessing of the Second Amendment along to the next generation. Because we are setting up, guys, to have a amazing freedom foundation for our next generation, which is our whole point, passing along that blessing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you at the 9 p.m. segment. I'm Braden. See you later.